Hello everyone and welcome back to Minecraft on the Vortex server. The new plots I made have been claimed by Sagittarius and Pusher. So I need to make a new one because the one I used for a tree farm has also been claimed. By this guy, that's Jail99. No, can't complain, he's very active, but I have to say I'm not a big fan of this building so far. Devil Hunter's been trying to push the rules again by having leaves overgrow. If he does it too much, I won't bother fixing it anymore, and I guess I'll focus on different things than this spawn build. So next plot is going to be, I'm thinking that way, because less terraforming is needed. And I actually brought the wrong stuff, I think. I should have enough brown stained clay left to make the roads, but I need to make some space. I'm fairly certain someone's been through this chest and taken some stuff, but I don't think it was anything major, so I guess it's okay for now. But yeah, I suspect one of the new people has not been entirely honest. Why can I not? Oh, it's brown wool. Okay. Well, that explains a lot. But yeah, I think this should be enough. And Minecraft sounds are disabled, so I'll be right back. And here we go. I know Minecraft doesn't have much sound, but it has some, so I don't like accidentally disabling it. And of course, I am entirely out of space. Yep. I know Minecraft, yeah, is not the most sound-intense game, which is kind of interesting. You see, modern games tend to be rated when, like, magazines and stuff rate games. They rate graphics and audio as part of their rating system, which is quite funny in a way, because so many modern games are so bad that apparently you have to include the graphics in the rating of the game to be able to give it a decent mark. Which, as I said, I find that really ridiculous. Simply because graphics, while they are a nice bonus, I would guess, they should not be a selling factor for a game at all. So this is basically where the stairs need to go on, and this needs to be 35 blocks long. So the stair part of the plots is 35 by 35, the hedges are 33 by 33, and then the inside is 31 by 31. So I'll do the exact counting probably later. Whoa, and there the server goes. I'll be right back. Back again. I don't know exactly how long that was, but it seemed like a fairly long time, actually. Yeah, I think the server provider probably had some issues, and my inventory is of course full again. So I'll just do the stairs now. So that's 5. It's 10. 15. That should be 20. 25, 30, and 2 more. And that should make it 35. So then the same in that direction. Though actually I don't need to be as careful, because in the other direction I can just basically use the limitation I have here. So I know this is going to have to be the road, which means I know this is the line that... whoa. The stairs run on. I don't really know why I'm showing you this, but I guess it's something I'm doing on the server, and some people might like to be included in this as well, despite the fact that it's actually not that interesting. It's almost nighttime now, so... And yeah, luckily I don't need to count this side either, because I know my plot has the correct size, and I counted the opposite side in length, and so all I need to do is make it sync up properly. But yeah, first I guess it's gonna be sleepy time. I'll just head back to my wonderful house. The windows look a bit massive, but it'll be better when I filled in some details. I got no feedback in terms of the roof yet, so that's another reason I actually won't continue doing this too much, because I don't know what the roof is supposed to be made from. I can't make a roof. Yeah, so a message calls for people to pimp spawn, but so Devil Hunter, I guess he fancies himself a builder, and he is a good builder, but at times he goes a little over the top with his ideas. Like, his plot looks great. I'm not saying he's a bad builder at all. That wasn't the point I was trying to make. This looks cool. But now he's had the idea that we need sewers for some strange reason. And supposedly we can all connect to the sewage system. Now again, these don't look half bad, but I can tell he doesn't want to light them properly, so there's going to be spawning places inside these. Which is inconvenient, because some people might have villagers at spawn, and that just causes issues with the tracking and such. And there seems to be no purpose for the sewers. Like, if we were playing on a Feed the Beast mod pack, I could see that we might run wiring and stuff down below to hide it, but we don't need that. This is vanilla. It seems there's no purpose to it. And like, his idea is that people are going to be setting up temporary shops down there and like a black market, but we don't need a black market. It's not like there's anything illegal to sell, and if it is, that's not going to be encouraged. If there's something that we actually don't want people to sell, we're going to ban them if they do it. We don't want them to have a place for it. Like, say, the only thing that really springs to mind would be duplicated items or hacked items. That would be all. Anything else, why would we need a black market? And any trade is valid. It's not like there's strict rules on you have to trade in diamonds and any of that stuff. You can do whatever you like on the trading that is going to be available, because the ravine is being worked on, so eventually there's going to be a different shop district which is easier to reach than the sewers. So I really don't see the point in them. I guess he just wanted a project and just wanted something to do. And the sewers seem to be like his kind of building style. He likes to build that sort of slightly ruined random look, which really isn't what I do. Like, as you've noticed, whenever I build something, it's very structured and symmetrical and ordered and fairly rigid, which is not necessarily a good thing, but it's how I build. So, and he likes to build really random, as you've seen. He's always doing the ruined look and the cracked and destroyed and broken kind of stuff. So I guess sewers are kind of the thing he likes to build. But I still don't really get the point of why we would need that. It seems to me like it's not going to be used. When there's a different place to do the shops, which is in the ravine, which is not finished, so for now there might be a tiny bit of a reason why people actually might possibly want that sewer thing. Okay, I don't want sand here. It's not so bad on the next row, but this is the row that the hedges go on, so you're technically able to see parts of it through the hedges, and so those have to be proper. And there we go. That's at least that part done. I will now put down the road, and I'll see you when I've done that. And I'm back. The roads are kind of done. By kind of, I mean, technically they're going to need stairs on the outside and the hedges as well, but I'm not doing that at the moment. Don't particularly care for it, to be honest. The last time I did the plots I was really low on dirt, so I actually had to, like, get them from people's chests. I told them, so it's all good. And it's not like dirt is that rare, actually. I just didn't have any dirt here. And transporting large quantities of blocks from my fairly far away base to spawn is a bit of a hassle. So didn't want to do it, just took what was here. But yeah, dirt isn't an issue because the last few times I went to spawn I just brought dirt with me, like a few stacks each time, and should have enough for one plot now. Now the thing I need to kind of do is, or at least the way I want plots to be, because that's the plot that others, I'm not saying it was only Devil Hunter, he did some of them, but not all of them, I think. Some of the plots had been done fairly sloppily, to my mind. So what I do when I build a plot is I guarantee that at least the layer below, so the layer I'm currently standing on, is going to be all dirt. I need pumpkins. Well, jack-o'-lanterns, actually. I don't think I need more torches. I think it's 49 torches per plot. Yep. But first I want to sleep. I also don't have any grass blocks on me here at spawn, so guessing I don't really need those anymore. Yeah. I've got more dirt. Don't need any of that. It's pretty much only dirt I need at the moment. Yeah. I also don't have any glowstone here anymore, just because I took most of it away to build the witch hut. But not to worry. And there we go, that's all the dirt I have here, but I think that should be sufficient. But yeah, not to worry, the witch hut has been producing very well, so I'm not low on what's its face, glowstone. Now I just need to fill this in, and I guess I can just talk a bit while I do this. In one of his recent episodes, Devil Hunter, I think it was called like Space is Amazing or something. So what he talked about was a very interesting topic. It was about exoplanets and how he thought it was a blindingly obvious point that there was alien life somewhere, because the universe is so large, and the assumption that we're the only intelligent life is preposterous. And to some extent I would agree with that. It is very unlikely that humanity is the only intelligent species out there. And with that also comes the question of if you can actually consider humanity intelligent, but that's a different matter actually. That's more like the cynic in me. But the point is, he said it's a no-brainer, and it definitely isn't. Now, it is true that there are a lot of stars out there. And many stars out there have planets around them. And so chances are there are some which are very similar to Earth. But that in itself does not prove that there's life on these planets. It's a statistical probability, and the thing is, we don't know enough about these things to actually make that assessment in a meaningful way. Now, we have a good idea of how life started on this Earth, but how exactly it did, we don't know. It hasn't been possible to replicate it in a lab exactly. And what we do know is, or calculations have shown, that if any of the natural constants on Earth and in the universe in general, if any of these had been off by a tiny percentage, like not 5%, not 1%, not 0.5%, tiny percentages, that would have made life as we have it at the moment completely impossible. So the fact that life formed was a gigantic coincidence. Like, it was ridiculously improbable, probably. Yeah. That didn't make much sense, but the point is, whenever we try to basically recreate the chemical and all the conditions that we had, or we think were around when life first started, life did not just prop up. So chances are it's a very, very unlikely kind of concatenation of coincidences, I guess, which has led to something like a self-replicating string of DNA to be formed, which then, I guess, could be called the first living thing, even though probably the first thing that was live didn't do very much apart from make more of itself. Again, we don't really know much about that, because it was so long ago that it's not like there's any documentation on it. We have to use different methods to try and find out how it was like back then, and naturally we can't be certain about these things. It's largely now, it's not guesswork, so I'm not saying that evolution is a lie and all that kind of stuff. That's ridiculous. But I'm saying science can't be that certain of these things simply because of the limitations of scientific methods. Because you can't go back then to the time and check, and you can't ask anyone, and there's pretty much no fossils from back then. Fossils? Petrified life forms. So we are left having to kind of work backwards from what we have now. We have to look at the solar system and then consider how it was formed and how Earth should have looked like. And chances are always that scientists are right about these things. There's a common argument said that, oh, but scientific theories, they're just theories, which means they're not certain. Yeah, for example, the fact that if you drop a stone it's gonna fall down, that's a scientific theory. Or the Earth is round, that's a scientific theory. Scientific theory means scientists agree it's true. It's just the phrase they use. It's not a theory in the same sense that, I don't know, if I were to say, I think that person might be the murderer, that's a criminological theory, which means it has no value aside from being a hunch and maybe a road worth pursuing. But in a case of law, in a court case, case of court, I think it was him, is not going to count for anything. And it shouldn't. But a scientific theory is not people blindly guessing and saying, oh, it might have been like this. It is the theory that someone made up, or a group of people came up with, which best describes our findings, our experimental findings. And what is usually a good sign for a scientific theory is if it's able to predict things. So, for example, theory of evolution. It's a scientific theory, which means most scientists agree it's true. And there are a fair number of people who think it's not, but those people have no better alternatives, and they disregard the evidence on a massive scale. Shouldn't really be something to talk about during a Minecraft LP, but I've got nothing else on. So the point is, yes, that's a scientific theory, but it works together with all the evidence we found of things. And for all intents and purposes, it has been proven in the same extent as, say, the theory of gravity has been proven. Now, the thing is, science looks at the world around us and tries to come to conclusions from that, so by its nature, that is a theory, because we might all be living in the Matrix. We might all be having a very wrong perception of the world. Perhaps our senses aren't actually the right thing to look at the world around us. It's not likely, or I guess it's in a way irrelevant, because if we live in the Matrix, I guess we're just determining the laws of the Matrix, but the world around us might be very different. We don't know that. And if the machines didn't know what chicken tastes like, how do we know chicken actually tastes like chicken? The point being, we can't be absolutely certain of anything in science, but that doesn't mean it's a bad thing to believe in science. It doesn't mean that it's unlikely. What science finds is a very, very likely truth. It's just never 100%. And that brings me back to the exoplanet thing. We don't know exactly how life formed, and so we can't know what the coincidence rate actually was. Now, we can work out roughly, or we can at least make a good estimate of how many stars there are in the universe, and how many of these stars have planets. We can also kind of guess, and how many of these planets might be roughly similar to Earth. We can also estimate that fairly well, because we've seen at least a small portion of the universe, but the sample size is large enough. We can work out roughly how large the universe is by how old it is, and redshift and all that stuff. I'm no astrophysicist, so I can't go into the details too much, but we do have a good idea of how many planets there are, which might be similar to Earth. But we don't know how similar. We haven't found one yet that is exactly like Earth in every way. So we don't know if there's anyone, if there's actually one out there which has produced life. And it might be that life has come up on a planet which is nothing like Earth at all. Also possible. It's nighttime again. I guess it's kind of a hefty philosophical topic, and I apologize, but I think it's very interesting. And I think Devil Hunter has simplified his view a little bit in his videos. In his video, rather. Oh, come on, it is night. Yes, night. I can see stars, it's night. Come on, let me sleep. Thank you. So yeah. We don't know how precise the, the values have to be to support life similar to Earth. But as I said, life might have formed very differently on a different planet. We don't know that. And we probably can't, because the universe is very, very big. And if there is life on another planet, which I'm saying it is fairly likely because of the sheer number of planets. But if there is life, it's probably, firstly, it's very, very far away. So even with the best telescopes in the world, even if we build massively larger ones, it is unlikely that we're going to be able to actually see a planet that has life on it. Like, just see it. Simply because, while we can actually build telescopes that can view very, very far, there are limitations to how far we can see. And the universe is very big. It is ridiculously big. Like, the numbers, I could quote you numbers, but they serve no purpose in conveying how big it is, simply because there's no basis for comparison. Humanity's capability of judging numbers fails very quickly. So 100 and 1,000 people are very difficult to tell apart. If you show people a picture of 100 people and tell them that's 1,000 people, they will probably believe it. Numbers are very difficult to gauge, especially when it's like, if the people... Whoa, is there some kind of invisible block? Sometimes that happens. Especially if like a crowd of people which you're showing them is not standing ordered, but just chaotically standing around, possibly even moving on a video. It's almost impossible to tell the difference between, say, 100 and 1,000 or 10,000 and 100,000 people. It becomes increasingly difficult, so telling you there's something a billion light years away, what's a billion light years? It's very far away, but that's about all. You have no concept of that distance. Like, people keep telling others that a blue whale can be up to 30 meters long, and that's, wow, 30 meters, that's a lot. But you've got no actual concept of the size of that thing until you've either seen a skeleton of one, or, better still, seen a live blue whale. Then you know how big it is. Until that point, it's just a number which doesn't really mean very much. So, and there's really nothing on Earth that comes close in terms of magnitude to the intergalactic distances we're talking about, and the sizes and the numbers. So, but yeah, the universe is very large. And even using conservative guesses, or I guess using hopeful guesses, life will be sparse. So chances are we won't ever be able to actually see it. And similarly, because of the limitations on travel, because we can't travel faster than light, it's also very unlikely that we're ever going to be able to discover life, as in walk on the planet. Now, science fiction has obviously found its ways around that using warp drives and teleportation and faster than light travel and all that. And obviously for science fiction, and I'm running out of dirt, and obviously for science fiction that is necessary, because if you made a science fiction book, movie, game, whatever, and you did the realistic thing, which means, say, the colony on Mars takes a year to reach, maybe, and the colony in another solar system takes 100 years to reach, that might not make for a very good story. So, I get where they're coming from, basically. I'll have to steal people's dirt again, but I'm assuming they're okay with it. But faster than light travel is not possible. It just doesn't work that way. Now, I recently saw the Dune film again, which is ancient, and it was fairly bad, to be honest. But the point is, in that film they basically travel by folding space, so that distances become different. Which might just be feasible, but it's unlikely to be a meaningful way of travel that doesn't tear everything you try to send across it to tiny pieces and blows it all to bits. So again, not a very likely method of travel. Which means we will probably be limited to, say, I guess it's not not that unreasonable to assume we're going to be traveling at, say, 99% of the speed of light. That's very possible, and in space it might be feasible, because there's no air resistance, and I guess if we've got a very well shielded spaceship, it might just be possible. Now, might just be possible doesn't mean it's likely or easy. Traveling faster than, or almost as fast as light, means a tiny speck of dust hitting the ship would already cause insane amounts of damage. I think I might just have enough, actually. And space is a good vacuum, but we can create better vacuums on Earth than space is. There's bits in space, like not much of it, but if you're traveling almost at the speed of light, you're covering a fair bit of space in a fairly small amount of time, relatively speaking. So again, statistically, you're probably going to hit something. Now you can avoid bigger things like planets and such, because you know where they are and you can kind of plan the correct route around the planet. But something the size of, say, I don't know, a New York skyscraper. You might think that's very big. It's not for a celestial object. It's big. When you stand in front of a New York skyscraper, it's actually a huge thing. But planets are a lot larger. I think I had some more jack-o'-lanterns somewhere. I remember making more than I needed. Well, there's some pumpkins. Someone taken them, because I know I had stacks of them. Oh, over a stack of them left over. Yeah, I guess someone did, but 34 might just be enough. I need 18 plus 14, that's 32, so this is enough. Unless I made a mistake, but I think I should have 2 left over by the end of it. Just means I need to find some more torches somewhere. So 3 spaces, pumpkin, 3 spaces, pumpkin, and so on. So, yeah. I guess people, when saying that there's definitely alien life, they need to be a little more aware of the amount of things science doesn't know about the topic. And again, I'm not saying there's definitely no life other than Earth. Or rather on Earth, but it's not an absolute certainty. Firstly, the argument that people give is always a statistical one, which means statistics never give certainty. Statistics can only give you chances. By its very nature, it's not going to say there's definitely life on another planet. But despite that, we just don't know exactly what it would take to create life on another planet. What the exact concatenation of coincidences was, so just a little silly to just assume that there is life elsewhere. Well, we can assume it, but you shouldn't tell people it's a certainty. And I think I don't have any coal or any torches left, so I'll probably need to make some charcoal. Let me just check. Unless I missed them, no I don't. 12 should be sufficient. It's actually the perfect amount. Where did I put? There did I put. So put down a furnace. Blaze rod does exactly 12 smelting things, so that's perfect. And I'll pause the recording very quickly to check how much I've recorded. Oh dear, I have gone way over my usual 20 minutes already, so yeah, please give me some feedback. Did you like me just talking about science, philosophy, whatever you want to call that? Did you find it terribly tedious? I know I made some arguments about evolution, which you should never do on YouTube, so I might just get terrible comments for that. I don't know. But yeah, please let me know. Was it good? would you rather me not talking about that kind of stuff again? I'm very interested to learn, and until next time, I guess, have fun and goodbye.